What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. It feels so good to say that and to be back. My AC went out again. It's pretty much impossible to record under hot camera lights in Texas without AC blowing, or it'd sound like this by the end of the market watch. Also, I threw out my back a bit ago. It is now minimal pain. I have to like bend the wrong way for there to be any pain. It's pretty much completely healed. So I should be back to streaming as long as my computer doesn't go out again or AC or something wrong. Please just return the slab. Speaking of slabs, this tin makes the full slab as a collectible, but Konami's decided to do a bunch of short printing and half printing. I tried to record this several times unemotionally. I can't do that. I think it's a really stupid decision that they mess with that after already putting more secret rares in to dwindle down the ratios, which I would hope would have done that. The short prints are actually what I wanted to be short printed. I'm happy with those, but the half prints, it's a long list of really just aggressively greedy things, okay? When it comes down to half printing, you might not be as familiar with the term as short printing. Short printing means it's grossly hard to get versus the average pull rate within the set. A half print means it's simply twice as hard to get as a normal secret because there are about half of them printed compared to the other cards, or at least it seems to be that way for major pull rates in both EU and USA. So we have both of those from reputable sources, and I'm gonna go down through those. The short prints, and you'd already guessed one of them is Dark Magician Girl, are also Blue Eyes White Dragon and Red Eyes. Clumping is another thing that plagues modern product, where you will see, a bunch of people feel like they got super lucky on these cases because they saw a bunch of the chase secret, meaning somebody else somewhere saw pretty much none of them, right? But Dark Magician Girl, Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, these are DM era monsters. I think it's good to make collectibles like this where Dark Magician Girl, a reprint not everybody wants, is the second most costly thing in the set right now. I applaud that. I think that's genius and a good way to sell product. The half prints, however, are this list: Pot of Prosperity, Forbidden Droplet, Lightning Storm, DPE, Crossout Designator, Ecclesia, Diviner of Herald, Dragoon, Aluber, even though it was already reprinted and goes from the past too. Yeah, I really think that they went hard on the staples in order to try to sell them again at some point. I wouldn't press the panic button yet. The Megatins are the most open product of the year, the flagship. This just hurts pretty much everybody who's not Konami, though. The consumer trying to go after these reprints, the stores trying to sell the product. Like, look at Legendary Duelist Season 3. People don't want to touch this because Magician Souls is what everyone was waiting for, and they'd be ripping it open if it was easier, yet previous products had zero shorts in it, and now it has short prints, and they've been doing it all this year to where these worst ratios or short prints where they weren't before ends up hurting the product. Like, look at Legendary Duelist Season 2 and how it ended up fire selling throughout and being underestimated, where everybody and their mother was waiting for Legendary Duelist Season 3, and now they just don't want to go in on it because Konami's greed did that to the top card after already short printing it in Battles of Legend. You're selling the card again. What are you doing? And when it comes down to this is a lot of their first reprints, right? Although Droplet was already reprinted, in the Water Duels pack to try to save it. So some of these, it is their second, like Lightning Storm was in King's Copium. So some of these are down to their third reprint, yet they're feeling the need to do that again. And it's really just a terrible business model that shows nothing but greed, and it's not great for the player base. It's great for nobody, realistically, except for trying to sell the card again in a future product and seeming like the hero if you put it in a structure deck. I'm just not happy with it. I think it's a really terrible move for the tens. I'll do my estimated value pull math later, perhaps, where I try to see how this affects the pre-sellers and who did what. But right now, pre-sales overall are pretty cheap for what would be expected on the 10. Once vendors end up opening this and seeing the prices and the competition ramps up, we'll see how that actually does end up settling out, though, from the mass amount of sellers that will be on the market trying to keep certain things. A lot of the people pulling out the new God card support will probably be trying to hoard it and then sell it for major profit on Amazon later or something. That's a pretty common technique with anything casual. So we'll have to see how the actual EVP ends up being. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know the future of card prices, how things are going to turn out, your bankroll, and that kind of stuff. But with the 10s, I do think this makes these 10s considerably less appealing to end up actually busting open rather than keeping sealed. But again, that'll hurt the sealed kind of long term in terms of how much it was opened. Also, YCS, we had the Exo Sisters win, Dimensional Shifter, a lot of memes out of there. Martha Starlight Rare is going up, a lot of baby bumps up in prices and people re-interested in this deck. It has a really good meta call against multiple top decks in the formats, and it is flexing. I think once Tier Lament gets the Ishizu stuff, you might see this phase out even more like the OCG, but good meta call. With it being slept on, I even was harsh on this deck on how it had failed to show up on the scale people had hoped for, and here it is taking down a YCS win. Apparently, Tier Lament players are playing Skullmark Ladybug for time. Actual buyouts on the IOC and DR2 version. I really hate our time rules, and it's another thing that Konami feels like, oh, it's just the player base complaining for a bit. This is so much better for how tournaments are run. Actual gameplay is way worse for it, and it's rearing its ugly head time and time again, not only in feature matches, but the actual text in the format. Be aware this is bought out for the time rules. We have ban list hype. You know, people are frothing at the mouth, hoping a ban list is going to drop one of these days. We see first edition Ultimate Rare Ptolemaeus on this list. I don't think it'll come back because it's an alter win con, but the first editions are way up in price here to the $40 mark, where that's the lowest listings, versus it actually selling out up to $25, where its market price was around $17. Runics are getting a lot of hype and attention, especially from the regional scene. People are just trying to break this in and go with it. Runic Tip Collector Rare is going up even further towards 90, and the Ultra Rare is pressing on up to and lower in quantities than when we last covered it, and you see a lot of these cards ending up going up. I actually haven't looked at Tactical Masters today, so live editing done cheap. Let's take a peek in. It looks like Drone Lockbird might be down a bit. No, just a couple of low listings that are damaged. It's still around $90. And let's look through the rest of the top. OCG coming into our market really strong. This is staying up. It looks like Lovely Labyrinth. I told you they might want that one, where it's not really doing anything in the meta but has long-term potential, and the OCG max rarity waifu that they've gone crazy for is up there. I did see even on OCG Twitter someone post they got theirs in, and it had so much reception. It was at like 340 likes for an account that didn't get that much traction usually, so it is interesting how much they like some of the versions of our cards. Majesty's Fiend is apparently being hyped for Runic. I have not seen the list. This is my Discord telling me cards that are moving, and the secret rare does appear to be going. The other versions are very accessible, but the max rarity seems to be being hyped specifically for Runic. Into the Rain seems to help Magical Muskets pretty well, and I read the card and it does seem to line up. People are buying out all the copies of the cards that have not gotten reprints or the highest rarity versions, and they are going up / out of quantities. And yeah, Spirit Warriors doing it once again. Necro Valley Ultimate Rare getting hard targeted. Here you can see it's spiking recently, but the lowest copy from a top rated seller is around $125 for a playset. These seem to be newer listings here, because it was up to $150 / $169. Not so nice with that shipping. You should have done free shipping at this price. Sprite Elf is going up further, as I guess there's just this weird imbalance with Power of the Elements and blue going down, Elf going up. It was a majority of the top cut going in, though, the Sprite deck, and you see this is now around $18, continuing to just go even higher. New support makes prices go brrr. No surprise, we see a lot of new reveals in the OCG since I wasn't able to record last week. Chaos Goddess getting an actual kind of archetypal deck was very interesting, and it of course spiked up along with this. No current listings. Gishki, you know, the hand loop deck actually got very impressive support for the deck. A lot of the DT stuff is on buyout mode, so if you have that, that has gone up in price pretty ridiculously, and maybe it's actually an option. I'll have to see how it plays. The support did seem very good, and Evil Eye got some okay support where you can now link summon with their equip spells, and also got another recursive monster. That was pretty impressive, and we see Surzeal going up. The Starlight, not so much, but still low on listings, but Surzeal Secret Rare has gone up and about doubled in price, where the cheapest near mints are $8 to $9, and that is a very nice looking daddy card. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I try to keep this one shorter, and again, I get it. I get a bit emotional when I'm talking about news with stuff like Megatins where they didn't do it, and people go, are you really shocked, John, that they would short print stuff at this? Whenever they did not previously mess with the ratios like that, yeah, especially a flagship product, I am a bit disappointed and also still going to be shocked when there's a lineage of not short printing in there. But it seems Konami's back with its old ways on some of these products, and it is highly disappointing to see, at least from my end. Most sponsorable by Konami channel, by the way. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. Let me know what you think of all the moves as well as the Megatin ratios. Did you personally expect it, even though they, upped it being harder to get secret rares in the first place, and now half printing them where you'll see every other case? That kind of makes it harder to pull than core set products for the price lineup at MSRP, and that really does actually suck to see, depending on the cards of the half print list. And that list, it's a pretty bad list.